Welcome,
Hey
welcome,
there,
welcome.
everybody. We are live. It's Plausible
Woo!
Deniability Thursday night. So glad you are here with us. We are just thrilled to be following
Welcome,
last night's
everybody.
amazing
It's Plausible
Deniability Thursday night
experience.
So glad you are here with
You
us.
bet.
We are just
Oh my gosh, my brain did the same thing yours did. I cannot think of the word whenever you talk about the premiere episode
Mysteries of Vyatryx. It was so incredible. It was so wonderful. First off, I'm Michael Cross.
I'm Brook, and that is not Johnnie Payne.
It's not Johnnie Payne. Much prettier than Johnnie Payne. Jessica.
Johnny's very pretty.
Jessica is joining us. Jessica is one of the cast members for Mysteries of Vyatryx. And boy, I tell you, first off, Jess, what an incredible show last night. How do you feel about it?
I'm very pleased with how it went. Very pleased. Very thankful for all the positive support. Up to 102 views on YouTube.
Oh.
So in less than 24 hours. So that's great.
Oh, it's amazing.
Just excited to be a part of Red Dirt. We've been watching you guys since the very beginning. And,
yeah, you guys have been with us since the very, very beginning.
That's right. Kind of like the Oracle, only you're not old.
Now, for those who don't know, Jessica and I go way back in D&D.
Oh
yeah. We
do tell.
Okay, so Kimberly and I were playing. She had just gotten into the game. This is 2018, and we'd been playing AL games at Edmond Unplugged. And someone had mentioned that they were going to do a homebrew game at PB&J. If you guys remember PB&J.
Sweet. Yeah.
And I know. I drove by there today on the way home, and I was like,
they didn't make it through the Rona.
They didn't make it through the COVID, and it was so sad.
Yeah.
I would love to have them back. I think Parker was fabulous, and I'd love to have them back. But there was a game, homebrew game, and Kimberly said, "Well, how about doing homebrew?" She said, "I've never done homebrew before." She said, "Have you ever done homebrew?" And I said, "Honey, when we started D&D in the early 80s, that's all you had.
That's all you had was homebrew."
I mean, sure, there were some modules, but it was all homebrew. There was nothing.
Back in my day, there were no adventure leagues.
Yeah, they didn't have a word of hope for homebrew because it was all homebrew.
My actual first long-term campaign with one of my greatest friends, we still call it Jonesyland because his last name was Jones. See? And so we still refer to that as the Jonesyland campaign. It's set in Greyhawk as time went on, but with his own twist.
Yeah. So we went to go play this homebrew game, and it was not good. It was for Kimberly's introduction to homebrew. It was slightly disappointing, but the one shining part of the whole thing was Jessica was there, and we didn't know Jessica at the time, and I think wasn't it like about 3 or 6 or 7 months later that we went, "You were there."
Yeah. So I'm originally from Georgia, and I only moved out to Oklahoma in May of 2016.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I was, fresh out of college, trying to pay my bills, trying to be an adult, get my first big girl job. I was working second shift for a long time, so I didn't have a whole lot of extra time to do fun things. And I finally I landed a 9 to 5, and I had my afternoons open and my weekends, and I had time. And so like PB&J's was literally across the street from my apartment complex.
Oh, wow.
I'd always been interested in D&D. I grew up playing it with my dad. It was a big part of like family game night, and so I heard that they were. We checked. I went and I checked out PB&J, and like I heard they had a D&D game, so I was like, cool. I'll take a swing at it. I'll dust off the old books, and then they were like, oh, but we do 5th edition now. And I'm like, oh, okay, well then I'll buy all the new books.
Yes, so many new books.
Yeah.
What was your first edition?
3.
Oh
okay.
Wow!
All right,
3.
Very cool, very cool.
But that was like, I'm pretty sure my dad heavily modified it because I was like 7. So
yes.
So but yeah. So I sat down at the table, and I think it was so crowded. There were like 12 people there,
yes.
right, Michael?
Yeah.
And it was this guy and his girlfriend who was a completely overpowered person.
Oh, the girlfriend was it?
I've heard
was
this
it,
part of the
Yeah.
story.
She was an
I've
OP
heard this part of the
pixie who
story.
was like, I mean, throwing. We were supposed to be like 3rd level or something like that. She's throwing out like fireball, like massive delayed timer fireballs and stuff. And I'm like, okay, you can't. Okay, the girlfriend of the DM. It was like such a trope. Being the overpowered character, like okay, and I did tell Kimberly, it's like if you're ever in one of my games, this will never happen because I don't believe in OPing over the girlfriend or the wife.
Yeah, I was.
That's right.
Playing with Andrew, and he just. All I get is murder and death and and sometimes curses. I get curses occasionally.
Yeah, but what about in the game?
Yeah, exactly.
But we actually we played a lot of AL games later on, and one of my favorite characters, Jessica, used to do a druid that would constantly cast druid craft and just flowers, and that's how. And so when you played last night, Kimberly and my wife and I were watching, and it was like we expected you to go flowers. And it was so disappointed that you didn't go flowers.
No flower.
No.
That's not Brad's speed.
We're gonna get to your. We're gonna get to your character. We're gonna get to the character in just a moment. We're gonna get to all that stuff. But first, it's trivia time. It's trivia time.
Woo!
Who have we got?
Shout out
Ruffles, S. Jones, Don Miller. Tim's in here. Tim Fricker. Who else have we got in here? I can't.
Germs.
Is Germs in here? I see S. Jones.
Woo!
See, maybe I'm not going down far.
If he stayed with us, Hal
is
here,
Germs.
of course.
Okay.
So good to see you.
He's way up there. He hasn't talked in a while.
And Ruffles. Germs may have been our first person in the chat. Oh, no, Andrew and Tim beat him. But
yes, Andrew, of course, was the first. He's in the next room. So it's...
He's got the dice fairy today. So.
Yes.
Now, Jessica, I have bad news.
What?
You're on the show this week, so you can't play.
I
mean,
know,
you can.
I know.
So
my championship title of.
I know it's at risk. So.
So this is open to everybody. If they can't get it, then we'll open it up to the peanut gallery here. But
that's right.
Okay. Was Andrew? Was he on there earlier? Okay.
Andrew is
yes,
there.
He is. Okay, Andrew. By the way, I knew you were on from the very beginning because I remember you'd commented earlier. But great show last night, Andrew. We so proud of you. Red Dirt is thrilled to have you. Just to let you know. Anyway, on with trivia. Okay. First off, we're gonna start with green. What is green? Magic and miscellany.
All right.
Magic and miscellany. Here we go, everyone. Creatures within the sphere of effect of the spell Silence are immune to what type of damage? They're immune to what type of damage if they are in the sphere of Silence? Which doesn't, it doesn't, if you know the damage types, this one would be pretty obvious.
Is it Hall and Oates?
It's Hall and Oates. It's oh, hey, well, look at that, Andrew, coming right out of the gate. Andrew can't play either. I don't know. Andrew Ruffles says you can't play, but no, I think you can. I think you can because he can't hear any of us. He can't hear us because Jessica's got the headphones on.
That's right.
So we will go, Andrew. Yes, thunder is correct, and they actually have a little thing that says they are also protected from spells or other attacks that require sound to be effective. Which silence is a great spell if you can cast it on a wizard or whatever. The problem with it, it's not like darkness where you can put it on an item. All they have to do is walk out.
It stays.
It'd be so much better if you could like put silence like on their belt or on their pants. I want to cast silence on their pants. And that way they'd have to like take off their pants if they wanted to actually cast spells.
As a defensive spell to keep a bard from casting suggestion on you, it's decent.
Oh yes, that's true.
Because you can't hear them.
and if you're a barbarian, you can just go rage all day long in silence.
That's right.
Okay, here we go. History. History. Oh gosh, really? Dragon issue number 83.
Oh, come on!
I think I might have had that. March 1984. I think I know this one. March 1984.
I do know this one.
Carried a short sword introducing what new campaign setting?
A short story.
I'm sorry. Let's try this again. I'm blind. I'm going blind. It's horrible. Aging is weird. Dragon issue number 83, March 1984, carried a short story introducing what new campaign setting? And we'll give it a little bit further delay, but...
I was looking through Red Dirt D&D on Twitter earlier today, and right underneath that, from a different account that I follow, was the answer to this question.
Really?
Yes, they posted a picture of it and said, "Look what I found. I didn't even know." And I was like, dude, I read that story in 1984. I know that issue. So,
yep. In fact, S. Jones got it. Dragonlance, Kryn. It is.
It's a prequel story of Caramon and Raceland.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember the name of it? Did you have the name?
I think it might have been called Test of the Twins.
Bingo. You got it.
Yes.
Test of the Twins by Margaret Weiss.
Brook.
Always
and
love
the
it when
cover and the art inside of there was very similar to the either Test of the Twins novel, Time of the the one where Raceland goes back in time. It's kind of like flipped of that artwork that's updated. So anyway, it's very cool. I'll try to throw it in the Discord chat later for everybody.
That's awesome. Yeah. Congratulations to S. Jones. So we've got Andrew and S. Jones tied for first here. Monsters. Here we go with monsters. A lesser fey spirit bound to a tree becomes what kind of creature? A lesser fey spirit bound to a tree becomes what kind of creature? This is actually fairly easy, so I'm expecting a whole bunch of answers to come up soon. Oh my goodness, look at you, Andrew.
Oh,
wow. Andrew's
iron sharpens iron.
Yeah. And he answered it twice.
He answered it twice. He's working on spelling.
So nice, you got to name him twice. Dry. Yeah, you're getting closer, Andrew. I can't so well. I am a dryad.
I have no idea what S. Jones is trying to say, but it's like Hamadryad.
Hamadryad. Wasn't that a character in Lord of the Rings? No.
That's the point for Andrew, I think, spelling aside.
Now, Ruffles, I got to say, I don't think he can hear this 5 seconds ahead. Because Jessica's got headphones on, so he can't hear us. We were talking earlier, and he couldn't hear us. So I don't think.
Trust me, we made fun of him earlier and got no response.
That's right. Okay, what is pink? I'm trying to remember what pink is. Pink is Dungeons and Adventures. Dungeons and Adventures. So far, Andrew is leading 2-1. He cannot hear this. He's not getting the answers early, I promise. Okay. When TSR compiled all of the early Giant and Drow modules into a single continuous supermodule, what was the product called?
Oh. Come on, chat.
And for those who, I mean, it's not the answer, so I can tell you it's the Against the Giants did actually leave into the Vault of the Drow. That all was connected. So that's what we're talking about here. And the super module for both of those was called
dun, dun, dun.
What? Let's see if anybody can get this one, because that's a hard one. Came out in 1986. Out of the Abyss, no. Undermountain, no.
Two good guesses, famous
guesses.
Jones
Against the Giants was the giant version, but it was not the actual name of the super module.
When they put it all together.
Because it was very popular. It was incredibly popular. I went through Against the Giants when it first. I don't think I ever went to the Vault of the Drow.
That was one of the epic campaigns. Flashback to Jonesy Land. That was one of the epic campaigns that we ended up doing. Was that segment, and there are so many fantastic stories and characters from around that table in the 1980s. So lots of nostalgia for me there.
It was called A Date with a Drow. No, it wasn't called A Date with a Drow, but it would be hilarious if it was called that. This is, of course, back when the Drow were still evil, and they will always be evil, and they've always been evil. But now they're not.
They're just misunderstood.
They are.
Man, we are great guesses. I'm
playing a drow soon.
Great guesses.
I'm very excited. My last drow got killed off in the first game. My first adventure got eaten by a bunch of velociraptors.
Eaten by a velociraptor or two before.
It's not fun. Okay, do you know what it is, Brook?
I think I have a guess, but Don Mills just threw one in the chat.
No.
Okay.
It's not Scourge of the Slave Lords.
The one that's in my head is Queen of the Demon Web Pits.
That was one of the adventures in
there we go.
Yeah.
See?
So S. Jones, look at you coming in strong right there.
I knew he could pull it out of his head.
And you answered in the form of a question. So congratulations for getting D&D Jeopardy here. So
it's 2-2.
It is 2-2. It is 2-2. So we're going now with blue, which is characters. Characters. All right. It's the one after Scourge of the Slave Lords. Yeah. Okay.
Awesome.
Which member of the Gygax family played Erac's cousin, a mysterious mage in the world of Greyhawk who never revealed his true name? Which member of the Gygax family played Erac's cousin, a mysterious mage in the world of Greyhawk who never revealed his true name? There you go. I don't know if anyone's going to get this. I really don't.
No idea.
This is, they're just going to start throwing out in Gary. Gary is a good guess. It is not right. It is not, yes. Mark. Luke. John. Matthew.
Billy.
Frank. Kevin.
Thomas.
S. Jones is actually the closest, if that helps. He hasn't got it right, but S. Jones is the closest.
Wow. Now, is Eric the brother-in-law or the son?
Iraq, I think, is played Erac's cousin. Iraq is I think, another character, but I've never heard that one either. Luke. No, not Luke.
Andrew, I think, has a baby name book somewhere because he's like throwing these out really fast.
Okay. Wait, Germs
Boom. Came in with the win.
Germs got it. Ernie. Ernie Gygax.
Woo!
Wow.
I don't know. Gary Gygax's first name is not Gary.
Go on.
I believe it's Edward. And the reason I know that is because if you go through the Barrier Peaks, on the second level of the Barrier Peaks, the walls of the second level of the spacecraft spell out EGG with little periods. And the EGG was Gary's initials. And so he put his own initials as a little Easter egg, literally, egg in, because it had EGG. Because everyone always wondered, why does it say EGG? It's Edward Gary Gygax, something like that. But anyway, it's E. Gary Gygax is actually. Anyway, so we still got 2, 2, and 1 now. With Germs taking in 1 there. Okay, so here we go with cosmology. Final question. Cosmology.
Final question.
Which of the outer planes features a single sacred mountain encompassing 7 plateaus rising from a silver sea? Which of the outer planes features a single sacred mountain encompassing 7 plateaus rising from a silver sea?
I'm glad I didn't get a chance to play this week. I wouldn't have gotten.
Yes. Oh, wait a minute. I think we got Andrew. Andrew comes out strong with the final answer and the win. It is.
And the win.
It is. Woo! It's technically Mount Celestia, but yeah, Celestia, yes. Also known as the 7 heavens of Mount Celestia, one of the planes where people go to when they die. Anyway, thank you all very much, Andrew. Congratulations. Again, congratulations also on last night's Mysteries of Vyatryx, which I have a poster of right here.
Yeah.
Yeehaw.
I took out the sword, by the way. The sword is gone. It's no longer sticking out of my head. I got that, and I got the Dungeons and Dragons poster right there. So,
wait, does this mean that someone is now new king of media if they pulled the sword from?
No, I moved my sword. They didn't pull it. I just moved it. It's in a different place now. No.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yes.
Hey, this is completely unofficial since I've been keeping records, but we now have, over the last 3 weeks, we have Andrew with 3, but over the last 3 weeks, S. Jones also has 3.
There you go.
And Germs, with his 1 point tonight, also has 3.
Oh.
So we are coming in for a close finish of doing like a prize every 4 weeks or so. And, the next time Plausible Deniability meets. Woo!
Yeah. So last night, Mysteries of Vyatryx had its big debut, very exciting, and has been viewed more than 100 times now in its first 24 hours. I watched for 30 minutes, but then it was past my bedtime. It's already past my bedtime. Yeah. I get up at 2 o'clock in the morning. But we did watch a little bit of it, and then I watched the rest of it today, which is what I really love about YouTube, is the fact that it's there on the channel.
Yes.
After you're done, this will be there, so people can watch this later as well. So, yeah. But tell us about your thoughts on how everything went last night.
Well, like I said, I think it went really well. I'm delighted to find out more about my co-showrunners and the characters they've developed, because it's all been very we all have a campaign on D&D Beyond, so I can literally see their names and their pictures, but I don't know what they are. I don't know.
That's cool.
What their backstory is. I don't I'm just having to piece together information based on our interactions in game, and I love that an atheist seems to be a little bit of a scoundrel, and Septimus is a straight arrow, but his brother can talk him into getting into some trouble, and Buster and Doodler, you can tell that they've got a million stories.
Oh yeah.
That they've been causing trouble together for a very long time. And then Tempest with his mysterious beginnings. Where is he from? Why was he hiking out in the wilderness? Why did it take him a month? Has he never heard of a teleportation portal? This is high magic. What's going on?
He just wanted to walk. Just does.
That's fair. Nature's beautiful. But and it's fun to get to show off Brad. I've been
Now, Brad is the character you play. Tell us a little bit about Brad.
Brad is a kobold, but I modeled her character off of a newt, actually, and she is named after the oldest snake at Snake Discovery, which is it's like a museum for colubrids and other reptiles in, I think, Minnesota. But
cool.
They're a really cool channel. Lots of good information on snakes. But
one of the things that I really love about Brad is your characterization of when things are going down in, one eye here, but the other eye is like looking off over here. I just love that picture you created with that. So
it's that was actually really spur of the moment. I mean, I vaguely, so I did when I was talking with Connor, working on the character picture, the model for the little token. I was like, do you think we could like make her eyes a little bit unfocused, like they're not in both in the same direction? And he's like, yeah, we can do that. And now I'm like, let's do it.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, I know that's not really a newt thing so much like a chameleon thing, but
it reminds me of the lizard in was it Sing that kind of went in different directions.
He had the glass eyeball.
Yeah. And also, I loved your voice. Can you do the voice for Brad?
Oh, yes, please.
I can do my best. It's a little difficult right now. I've been practicing, so it's a bubble in my mouth, and I talk around it. And I can put it down in my throat, but it's harder to understand, so I was told to lift it up into my mouth so that it was better understood. So I've been tweaking and playing with it and trying to make it work for the character and the campaign.
I think it's wonderful.
That's fantastic.
And great. That is so beautiful. And I tell you, the other surprise for me last night was when you finally got into combat and Brad says, I rage. And I went, no way. Brad's a barbarian.
Oh, yeah. She's not so smart and she's not so good with her words, but she's going to help one way or another.
That is so fantastic. I love the fact that she's a barbarian. So tell us.
I got all caught up about that.
Tell us who. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, so what is Brad's relationship to this guy right here?
You know what? So actually, because that guy is Knick-Knack, who is actually Flowers, Nick's little brother.
Right.
So, so I'm not sure that Brad is related to Knick-Knack. I'm not sure about that. We haven't discussed it. It's entirely possible, though.
Sure.
In some, but that being said, Knick-Knack is a blue dragonborn. He's a little short, so he's a little stunted. He's got a skin condition, That's why he's got ointment.
That's right.
That's awesome.
So tell us, who else is it? So we got Andrew is the dungeon master. You are playing Brad. Who else have we got in the cast?
Well, we have Corey, who plays Anathius, and Tim, who plays Septimus, and then Tempest. What?
Oh, I was just going to say, now Corey and Anathius, they're the one, or was it Septimus that had something very traumatic kind of happen at the end of the episode? Which one was that?
Actually, Tempest.
Okay,
Tempest, who's Mikey's character. Our scruffy wandering storm genasi, and who came from outside of the city and wandered in, and no one would cast prestidigitation on him.
I know. I'm looking for someone to cast prestidigitation on me. And he's like, it's high magic. You're going to find somebody who can cast prestidigitation.
Yeah.
It's like the vendor down the street can cast prestidigitation.
Literally. I mean, Brad can't, but most people could. And then we have Colin, who plays Buster. Buster the Clown.
And that was Buster who had... Buster got real close to... I don't know if it's kind of a spoiler. I don't know if I want to spoil it. Hopefully you guys...
It was... Let's just say that Andrew doesn't play. Like, if the dice roll, the dice roll.
I've always known this about Andrew. Whenever he DMs, he does not pull punches.
The very first campaign that I played with Andrew, he murdered the character I made when I was 7 years old.
Oh my god!
Yes, I just gotten back into D&D. I just heard out about the Adventure League at Edmund Unplugged. I showed up. Michael was there. I sat down at a table. I moved around like a couple weeks, but I had Portia Toscobble with me, and she was going through the land of Chult. And if you know anything about Chult, there are velociraptors.
That's where my drow died. Was in Chult through to freaking velociraptors.
And so Colin was there too. We were at the table, and we had like, I think 2, because Chult was sort of the first adventure where you could have multi-tier play in AL. And so I guess because we were in a book.
Yes, so there was no actual tiered system. It was just if you had a first level character come in. Yeah.
So we had like 2 level 7 or 8 wizards or sorcerers, squishy spellcasters, and then we had like a level 2 ranger, a level 1 fighter, and then my rogue, and Colin was playing divine soul sorcerer. So we didn't have a whole lot in the way of tank. And we had bedded down for the night, and somebody who will remain nameless did not meet their perception check. And Portia did not even get the opportunity to run. She was dead before she knew it, because the raptors swarmed. Everybody else got up and ran away. Now, Colin did his due diligence to try to save me, but he was also celestial, sorcerer, squishy boy.
Right.
And we were less than level 5, so there is no revivify.
Yeah.
But
we've already talked about your accent with Bradley, which was just fantastic. But Colin's accent with Buster immediately pulled me in. I was just like, home run.
Incredible.
And Corey's accent, so Corey plays an Anatheus. Yeah. Anetheus.
It's like Nathan, but without the end. That's how I remember it.
That's smart. I loved Corey's accent as well. I mean, everybody just did a fantastic job. So
we're very lucky to have such a good and committed group together. And I didn't even get to talk about Aiden's playing Doodler.
Aiden, I know him personally. I've known him since he was born.
Yeah.
And he's amazing. And but his Kenku was spot on. Drew me, especially because that's the first 2 characters we meet is Buster and Aiden's character, Doodler.
AKA Dudes.
And he comes in and he's like, "Hey, how's it going?" He's like, then Buster comes out with this fabulous accent. Yeah. And it's obviously really, I mean, I hate to compare it, but I'm going to, is to the first time we see in campaign 2 of Critical Role, the first time they're all sitting in the tavern, and the characters, you immediately know their connection. I think I felt that last night when you knew the brothers, you knew Doodler and Buster, you knew immediately what their connection was, because, and I attribute that to the actors who were just wonderful about going, this is who we are, and this is our partnership, and was worked really well in that improvisation that was so wonderful last night.
And what I loved was that you had Colin and Aiden, who with their interplay in the tavern, instantly that these guys have been doing shenanigans for a while. Like there's some backstory of shenanigans, maybe like Blackjack and Xeonci a little bit, right? There's this backstory. But then you have these other two character connections in the library, and you instantly know that those two characters, they know each other and they understand each other, with the whole like, dude, we have been in the library all night long and I'm hungry. People have, the same people are here. No, people have gone and left and come back. And you've had your nose in the book the whole time. Like that character interaction was also fantastic.
Yeah, best line ever was, the books will still be here. Let's go get something to eat.
Let's go get something to eat.
No, we're very lucky to have a great cast. Corey and Colin have actually known Andrew way longer than I have. Like Colin is the person who introduced Andrew to D&D.
Oh wow!
And they're they are so excited to be doing this like on a platform together. And then we met Tim at Unplugged during our foray into Chult, and we've known Aiden as long as we've known you, Michael.
Exactly.
Can we spoil and say who Tim is in the Discord? Because people in the Discord might know Tim by his screen name.
That I mean, you might have to ask Tim's permission for that.
Okay, we'll be quiet about that then. But he's done fantastic artwork for us in the past.
Oh yeah,
and it's just such an amazing cast. So excited about it. And now I understand that Andrew is trying to put together kind of a previously on video. Is that correct?
Oh yeah. We actually recorded that last night. Right after we had all the first show jitters, and we were like, oh my goodness, we did it, it's done. We have to go to sleep now? No.
Oh, I know. It's so hard.
So we didn't. we worked on the recap video, and he's been editing it all day. And
when is he wanting to put that out for people who will want to?
I think he's planning on putting it out as a short on YouTube.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be next week, because I think he wants to premiere it like in the break, like in the 5-minute sort of pre-episode, like lead up to be like, this is a recap of what happened last time.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure if he's
that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's planning on posting it to YouTube before then. But it's probably going to be available as a separate short after. So
Gotcha. Yeah. Which is good, because that way you can watch that and then watch the show. Yeah. Hopefully, because I do love little recaps. I think those are always a great idea, because there was a lot that went on. It was 2 hours long, and there was a lot of things that happened, and so it's kind of nice to have a little bit of a.
Oh yeah, I've got 2 whole pages of notes in my little notebook.
When Andrew was going through his entire lore thing, everybody was just
scribble. Yeah, pull out those notebooks.
In a non-spoiler way, Andrew introduced that as kind of the audience is seeing a generic class, a history class, right? But you're exactly right, Michael. It was so funny because all of the players were obviously in class,
just writing notes.
Oh yeah. No, Andrew's been spending, I think at this point it's years on creating this world and the lore behind it. Its creation, its deities, the different locations, factions, and systems of rule, and getting everything sort of together. But also he likes to do this thing where he sets up a random table and then lets the dice decide. That's very much how he is. He lets, like you said before, he's very by the dice.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter if it's the first episode of the first campaign. If I'm going to do 24 damage to a level 1, I'm going to do 24 damage to a level 1.
Did they say, so he goes, was that plus 17? Are you sure about that?
Are you sure about that? How many spoiler monster are there right now? You know, so I mean, that was, it was
yeah. Well, okay, I guess technically we are level 2, but still, we're babies.
Yeah, level 2 is that weird you can die, but hopefully you can survive. It's better than level 1, but I mean, let's face it, level 3 is where it really that's where you really get to the point where you shouldn't certainly not die outright. Yes, you can get knocked unconscious and lose your death saves, but that's the problem with level 1. Right. Level 1, you could literally die outright, and I've seen it happen at tables where someone just gets critted accidentally by a goblin.
Well, and that's something
massive damage and
that was a little bit of an adjustment from 3, because in 3, if you were hit for more than half your health, you had to make a con save to not die outright immediately. So, I mean, things have gotten a little bit more lenient.
Yeah, a little bit more lenient. And I always hear the argument of how hard it is to kill people in 5e, and I'm like, dude, I've died 3 times or 4 times. So it's not hard. It's not hard to die. You can die. It's
definitely not hard to die if you've got the right DM.
That's right. Or bad rolls. I think. You know.
Oh my goodness.
Or if you're just brave and get in the way, like Michael Cross's characters tend to do.
That's what my Drow Rogue did. He's for some reason running in to save a little girl, and I'm like, it was totally out of character. Why I was running in to save this little girl being tackled by velociraptors? I don't know. Because Michael would have done it. The Drow wouldn't have done it, but Michael would have. So,
Blackjack had a reason at the Coleoptera Club because he thought he was immune, and so he runs up there right into the maw of this thing, and then remembers, oh wait, it could swallow me whole.
Yeah, and I'm not resistant to poison. I was just resistant to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing, but I'm still a squishy warlock.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
So, okay.
In the chat, Mark wants to remind us that he's killed probably more people than everybody in the same scenario.
Yeah.
You rise to greet a new day.
The smell of fresh baked bread is, which is fabulous. That's one of the things I loved about the Groundhog Day is just the ability. I could just die. I could keep dying. It was fantastic.
That was a fun episode.
Is Groundhog Day available here on the YouTube channel?
I think it is.
Yeah.
If it is, folks, you should go watch that. It's fantastic.
I don't think I had the pleasure of watching it live, but I've seen it, and
we always feel the saddest for Aiden.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't even get off the boat.
No.
But
which is a great teaser for Mark is going to be doing the Warehouse.
The Warehouse, WERE house. And it's going to be a variety of different games. We're really looking forward to seeing what he does with that one. And of course, Johnny. Oh, by the way, Johnny couldn't be with us. He's a little under the weather. If anyone's wondering, I guess we should have said that at the very beginning.
He missed his fortitude save. Yeah, and that's
what's fortitude?
Call those con saves.
I missed his constitution save.
Those are not the same thing.
There's an outtake recently, folks, on Red Dirt in which I say they're basically the same thing. You hear Michael Cross go, "They're not the same thing."
Because it completely confused my wife, and I'm like, "Yeah, see, I think it was a will save or something like that."
Yeah.
I love Reflex Pathfinder, save. But they're just. They're not because there's so many more bonuses that you can add to a reflex and a will save and a fortitude save.
And then you hear me teasingly say, "I'm just baiting Michael Cross."
Yes, you are.
I was. But we have such a great network of stuff that is happening here, and it's all because of you guys out there in the chat and everybody. We're just so excited about the possibilities and the new things that are happening. Michael, how many subscribers on Red Dirt D&D YouTube now?
Right now, we've got 199. Now, if I refresh this page, it might actually be more. We're trying to get to 200. So, okay, everybody's watching right now. Obviously, you're all subscribed. We know that. So, tell your friends. Tell your friends to subscribe. Let's see if we can get over 200 Of course, eventually we'd like to reach even more. And the more shows we have here, we've got Mysteries of Vyatryx right now. We've got The Warehouse coming up soon. Coming up this summer, we've got a Pathfinder, which is Wayfinder Legends. Johnny's going to be the GM for that. So we got PD. We got Secrets of Monster Island's ending. If you guys want to like binge Secrets of Monster Island, now's the time to do it. Because it'll probably be, by the time you get to the end, is when we'll be done, because we're getting really close to the end of Mysteries or Secrets of Monster Island, and going into Keys from the Golden Vault next.
Ooh, it's gonna be fun!
Very excited. Aiden is still going to be DMing, and we're also going to be joined by Connor, who y'all might know. He played Connor in Red Dirt D&D.
With a K.
Connor with a K. But Connor's going to be joining us, and Bree, new player to Red Dirt RPG. Very excited about having Bree joining us on Keys from the Golden Vault. I look for that one very, very soon. Aiden will still be DMing, and I'm excited to. There's a thrill about doing a printed piece, a printed work.
Yes.
And so the fact that we are doing the Wizards of the Coast Keys from the Golden Vault, I think is going to be very exciting. Plus, we all get to play rogues. It's, I'm not really rogues. I'm playing a rogue, but roguish thief type characters.
Hey.
Yeah.
A level 18 rogue is the best utility caster in all of D&D 5e with the right magic items.
Oh yes. It's always nice to have, because they can have any magic item. They can attune to any magic items. Yeah. Always
don't
nice.
Care about prerequisites.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Always nice. Okay. Speaking of thieves and honor among thieves, Jess, you have seen the movie, right? Twice. Me too. I've seen it twice as well. And by the way,
so good.
Folks, if you've only seen it once, it is actually better the second time.
It is.
Because there's stuff that you did not catch the first time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I didn't laugh as hard the second time, but I enjoyed it more because I was watching all these things, and there's something that happens, a very pinnacle moment. It's at the very end of the movie. It's a very pinnacle moment happens, and I was watching the second time too. Did the cinematography and the storytellers, did they show us that on screen? It just happened so fast that I didn't see it until things settle down, and then we have this really traumatic realization. And so I was watching for that, and sure enough, you can see it. Yeah, and there's, and you'll love this, Michael Cross, and there's Foley.
Yes, there is.
You
actually hear Michelle Rodriguez actually. She makes a vocal when it happens as well. Yes, the second time, and actually the second time was when I could actually let my emotions kind of go a little bit more, and because the first time I was all just kind of didn't really know what was going on, and it's all set up to where you kind of know what's about to happen. So this time, the second time, I was actually allowed to be a little bit more emotional with it, and I was actually in tears the second time watching it. So I'll own it as soon as it comes out on DVD.
I got some popcorn dust in my eye the second time as well, and I wasn't sure why, because it didn't happen the first time, but it did happen the second time.
Yeah,
I think that the first time I was just like, oh, please be good. Please be good.
I know.
Do not disrespect this franchise that is so important to me and my people. Please, oh my goodness, just respect it and don't make it too campy. And oh my goodness, they actually did a good job. And do you see that chubby dragon? Oh my goodness.
Thembershad is my It's just fantastic.
So much food aggression.
I love how much he wants to eat those people. He just wants to eat them so much.
Now, I was the only thing I was a little disappointed in, and it was one of the complaints that somebody had about the original D&D movie, the 2001, was that dragons were just almost beasts with wings and claws. That there was no intelligence, and I felt like, because Thembershad in Out of the Abyss talks and actually communicates with the party. So the fact that Thembershad didn't really speak and was basically seemed like a dumb animal, when he's not. I mean, dragons are in D&D. They're very intelligent, and I'm worried that people who don't play D&D, their idea of dragons, if you look at Game of Thrones, and other pieces, the dragons are just mindless beasts.
You can kind of get away with that with white dragons in D&D lore. I believe those are described as like the more animalistic and like violent. But I also think that they were juggling so many characters.
Exactly. Yeah.
So like, do we really have time to explore the depth of character of Thimbershaw when he's in here only to be like cute aggression, giant roly-poly lizard cat squishing things?
Yeah. And I knew why. Yeah, I knew why they did not want it. And it's just but it's still. I would love to see as we go further and further into.
Obviously, he was just hangry.
Yes, he was
it's
just hangry.
very hard to have a reasonable conversation with someone when you're so hangry.
Okay, at some point we need to have a picture of Thimbershad and then someone trying to hand him a Snickers, and when they come back to him eating a Snickers, it's Brad.
Create that meme. Somebody
needs to create that meme
when you're hungry.
My brain went back to Dungeon Magazine and thought you were going to turn him into Flame, from the famous.
I think it should be Brad. There. I think it should be Brad, especially this is Brad when Brad rages and Brad hasn't had a Snickers. When Brad's angry, Brad turns into Thimbershot.
You don't want to see Brad when she's angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm hangry. Like, hold on. You wouldn't like me when I'm hangry.
What would you guys would have liked to see more of in the movie, or that not necessarily a complaint, but just like, oh, I really, like I like this part so much, I would have wanted more of, like an intelligent dragon. What else?
I know that the biggest thing that kind of pulled me out of it, and Andrew talked to me a little bit about it too, was there were 3 costumes. There were only 3, and that's pretty good throughout the whole movie, but there were 3 costumes that needed some TLC, that needed a little bit of extra love and care. They did not do great with their beast folks. And, I mean, to be fair though,
they ran out of CG
on the
budget.
mimics, beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
You can definitely tell where they blew their budget. It's just there were a couple of the representation of the different races was a little, it's harder because in D&D you can be a centaur, and they how do you do you know how expensive it is to just have a centaur walking around in the background who's not even a character with speaking lines, but it'd be cool to see that stuff.
Yes, and the second time I watched
Tabaxi.
Oh, I know. The second I like the fact that they had a Tabaxi. I think they could have done a little bit better with it. And the second time I was watching, I did try to watch a lot more background, and I was a little disappointed that it was a massive amount of humans.
Oh yeah.
And it makes sense.
Humans.
But at least they had some Dragonborn. They had an Aarakocra, so it was nice to see those. But as far as background characters, it would have been, because we've got CG ability. I mean, ask George Lucas; he can throw little aliens back in the background. So
there were
you're
no
right.
lizard people. Where were the lizard folk?
It would have been nice to see a few more of those. Again, you're right. You're right. Maybe a centaur, a drow would have been really cool. Yeah.
Because, we went to, I understand you don't want to run into drow when you go to the Underdark because it's kind of a whole thing. But, they were in the Underdark, and there was no drow.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably a good thing they avoided those.
But that's what I figured. That's what I figured the cities were that they were showing. I was like, is this Menzo Baronzon that we're seeing in the? Which is coming up in the Neverwinter movie apparently, or Neverwinter game apparently coming up soon. So.
See, that was the other thing. And maybe my interpretation of Neverwinter is a little skewed because I know Neverwinter from Neverwinter Nights, the game from the early 2000s. But when they first panned, and did that establishing shot of Neverwinter, I thought we were in Waterdeep.
Oh.
I saw the giant blue statues, and I was like, are those the Guardians of Waterdeep? Are we in the City of Splendor right now? And then it was no, this is Neverwinter. I'm like, this isn't what I expected, but it's cool.
They've obviously built up since Mount Hotno. But did you not say they passed Mount Hotno? and the volcano, and I was like, oh, that's Mount Hondo. They've cleaned up a lot since then, and I think this is supposed to take place a few years in the future. I've not actually checked, but because obviously Neverember's still alive, but he's a lot older.
Good point.
I think Neverwinter's been cleaned up a lot more since the disaster. So the one thing the one thing I want to say is that I was kind of disappointed in the movie is the fact that at a D&D table, and DMs are encouraged to make sure that everybody at the table has their fair share of moments. So there's no star at the table. It felt like the D&D movie starred one person, and that was Chris Pine's character. Everybody else was there, and it was fun. It was great having them, but they felt like supporting characters to him.
To be fair, though, they did it could have been so much worse. He was a bard. He wasn't very overtly flashy magical. He wasn't Scanlan with the crazy tricks and the hand and the sparkles and the neon lights and the laser.
Yes.
But I feel like it was really weird because it was the story perspective. It was all Chris Pines and listen to his tale of woes. And then we'd get to the action and then he'd disappear.
Yeah.
And it'd be the other characters getting stuff done.
Yeah. The one time you do see him hitting people with his loot. And I'm like,
loot.
Man, that is one heck of a loot.
It's a metal loot, evidently. It's a magical loot.
It is a magical loot, which is why
it is reinforced. It says so on his character sheet.
Yeah, and it is, and you can't break magical weapons, magical things.
Right.
So, that was the only thing where I was a little bit disappointed. But yeah, if you look at the D&D movie, that is a prime example of someone it's one person. And a surrounding cast of people that they're there for that one person. So they did not go nearly as bad. I would have liked to have, and I've read Doric's story. I read her prequel novel. And so I got to know her a little bit better. And Aiden read the prequels for the other characters and he got to know them a little better. So that I think helps. But I just felt that the movie could have done a little bit more with an ensemble.
Maybe.
And that's what I was going to say was that, Sophia Lillis, who played Doric, oh my gosh, I give me more. I want more because I didn't read any of the prequels or anything like that, and it was just fantastic. I want more of that character. The one thing, and I can see some thoughts for this too, is that when I was just a touch surprised when I found out that Doric was a tiefling. Because tieflings are supposed to have kind of that demonic blood, and she looked very fey to me, light skinned and such. It would have been nice to see that kind of the abyssal element there of Doric, but I'm being so nitpicky, So and from an actor point of view, she was fantastic, and I want more of her. So.
They could have done something. The skin color is harder to do in a movie for full length, and I think she was born of human parents, so I think that's why they say that her tieflingness was not
something
as
back in the bloodline.
Yeah. She just had the horns and a tail, but for the most part, her skin color was
her ears
very
were
human.
Pointy.
That's right. She did have pointed ears, but she was fabulous. Oh my gosh, the fact that of course we lost count of how many times she could wild shape. in the book,
7.
you can only do it
there
2.
Were 7 times.
The second time through, I was counting to try to figure out what level she was, and I think she wild shaped 9 times.
Yeah, according to her character sheet, she has a daily limit of 5 per day, but she did 7 in the castle scene alone.
Yeah,
but
I don't know if it's if you count going from back to human back to mouse, if that considered maybe that's considered.
No. That's not really a wild shape. That's you turn it off.
It's the rule of cool. The DM basically allowed for the rule of cool.
I wonder if she was the DM's girlfriend, and that's what happened.
Yes, so she did turn into a deer. Yeah. That was fabulous. We are coming to the end here. Jessica.
So fast tonight.
When can people watch Mysteries of Vyatryx?
Wednesday nights at 7:00 Central till 9 p.m. Central every week. we're here on the YouTubes of Red Dirt D&D stuff.
Right here on the YouTube.
That's awesome.
We've got Secrets of Monster Island every Monday. We had a brand new episode of Red Dirt D&D drop yesterday, episode 21. It's a Dead Man's Party. If anyone knows Oingo Boingo, that's where I got that title from. Big shout out to Danny Elfman and Oingo Boingo, because I loved it. It fits for the show, so it worked. Let's see. We've got PD. We're gonna have 2 weeks. Warehouse is coming up. Make sure you ring the bell so that way you can know when that's going to happen. The ring bell up there. And Wayfinder Legends coming up sometime in summer. So
yeah.
Ton of stuff.
If people wanted to show their love and support, how could they do that?
Right. So we could always use your help. If you want to give a little bit of money to Red Dirt, and that way we can kind of helps us go out to events. It helps us grow the show, get things that we need. Then that would be at patreon.com/reddirtdnd. Patreon.com/reddirtdnd. You can also just search for Red Dirt D&D in the Patreon, and you get the episodes of Red Dirt D&D 4 days early. You get access to our Discord server. You get our roundtable discussions, the full versions.
The full length.
Hour long instead of just 15 minutes. And bonus content is going to be coming up real soon. We're thinking about maybe getting some character sheets of our characters, both in Mysteries of Vyatryx, as well as Keys of the Golden Vault and Red Dirt D&D. So, and all it's going to be only on our Patreon. So you got to be a Patreon to get it. So.
Oh, yeah.
And tier 2, you can call in and leave a voice message. We'll play it on the show during the roundtable. So there's, different things at different tiers. All that Michael Cross mentioned is just at level 1. Woo!
Yep. So join us at patreon.com/reddirtdnd. Like and subscribe. Subscribe to this. Give us a thumbs up. Ring the bell. And, of course, like and subscribe our podcast. And if you can, hit us up on social media. We're at Twitter, Facebook, Red Dirt RPG. All right, we'd love to have you come in and join the conversation because we are having a lot of fun. We're growing. By the end of this year, folks, Red Dirt RPG is going to be on everybody's lips. So with Secrets of Monster Island, with Keys from the Golden Vault, with Mysteries of Vyatryx, with The Warehouse, with Wayfinder Legends, with Plausible Deniability, Red Dirt D&D. It's going to be huge. And so you want to be a part of it and say, hey, I was there from the very beginning, although that was actually 3 years ago. We're about to celebrate our third anniversary.
Yeah.
Coming up this July. Ooh, okay.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
It'll be awesome. Michael Cross, it is 8:02. I don't want to rush you, but you, my friend, have work in the morning.
I got to go to bed. Jessica, thank you very much for joining. Everybody, wish Jessica a good night.
Thank you for having me. It's been great. And just one last thing. Hopefully, we'll get the movie will do well, and we'll get to see different arcs that focus more on the other characters. Maybe then.
Exactly, and different television shows. There's always the chance of shows. Who knows? Joe Magniello could get his Dragonlance show. Just saying, could be really cool. We'll be here in 2 weeks. Hopefully, Johnnie will be feeling better then. And in the meantime, I'm Michael Cross.
I'm Brook Bullock.
And I'm Jessica Simple.
Jessica, thank you so much. Everybody have a great night. We love you all. Be good. We'll see you soon.